Hello and welcome into the Retirement Playbook brought to you by Alspaugh Wealth Management. We're here with you every week, bringing you a podcast to the YouTube. And as always, I am joined by my co-host, Mr. Tony Shore. Hello, Tony.
All right. Enough of that.
How are you, buddy?
I'm good. I'm happy to be here, Brock. Always happy to be here. How was your Thanksgiving?
You know what? It was wonderful. You know why it was wonderful? Because I
Why?
took your advice on the leftover turkey the night of Thanksgiving,
Yep.
and I put it in the pan, sauteed it with butter, put it on the bread, and with mayonnaise, and it was absolutely fantastic. So thank you for that. You have enriched the lives of many. Okay, and now you can add me to that list for sure.
I am so happy. Yeah, you sent me a nice video message on Thanksgiving evening as you were eating the sandwich.
Oh gosh, it was so delicious. Anyway, so I would encourage everybody that if you do have any leftover turkey, probably want to throw it away at this point. But if
Yeah, I would say so.
but if not, the old shore sandwich. That's what we
Yep.
call it, the shore sandwich.
Yep, it's a good one.
Fantastic. Yeah.
I
good
told
job.
you, I knew you'd love that, but you had a great time with family and everything.
Oh
right?
yeah. My brother and his wife and sister and her family. I mean, it was great. We had a good time. So anyway, we're back in the saddle here, Tony, and we are coming up to the year end. We're going to be talking in the next couple of weeks of year end planning tips and some things you need to be doing to make sure that you close out 2024 the right way. Okay.
Right.
But today, I want to talk about something a little bit different. It's actually a little contrarian, if you will. But before we get into that, we're going to tell you to go to our website, folks. Again, AlspaughWealthManagement.com. AlspaughWealthManagement.com. You can go there. You can check out past shows. You can order my book. You can do a lot of different things and get a lot of great information. And one of the great things you can do, too, is request an appointment with me. Right there on the website, it says request a consultation. You click that button, fill out the information, and we'll give you a call. Also, go to YouTube. Okay, so if you're on YouTube right now and you've subscribed to our channel, thank you very much. If you have not, go to YouTube, search in Alspaugh Wealth Management, and like our channel so you'll be notified when a new podcast comes out. All right, Tony, we talk about, my wife and I, we talk about our bucket list all the time.
Yep, my wife and I do too.
Yeah. I love talking about it. Just it's fun to do. It's kind of like when you go places. I always get on that Zillow, right? And I look at real estate in the areas that we're visiting. It's just fun to do. It's one of those things that we like to do. But the bucket list gives you kind of a goal, and then maybe it's a financial, rolls into your financial life where you say, okay, if this is a bucket list item that we want to do, maybe there's some costs associated with that, Tony. So that's where it kind of comes in to get a financial strategy with that. However, today we're going to talk about your anti-bucket list, Tony. Have you ever heard of an anti-bucket list?
No, I mean, I'm obviously familiar with the concept of a bucket list, right? It's like the cities that we want to visit. My wife and I, the top of the bucket list is Ireland because I'm half Irish and we both want to go to Ireland, never been. I know she has some places on her bucket list too. I don't know. When she's talking about her items, it's just, in one ear, out the other. I'm kidding. Hopefully she's not listening.
I was just getting ready to say
I should probably remember what the places are on her bucket list. No, she has a lot of. I know Iceland. She wants to go to Reykjavik. That's probably number one on her.
Oh, nice
bucket list. I've heard that's fun.
I feel like traveling is definitely, the top of many people's bucket list.
Sure.
I had one, and I checked it off several years ago, and it was, skydiving. And so Danielle and I, we go out to Las Vegas for our anniversary. Actually, it was our 10th. Or was it? Anyway, it was an anniversary. I think it was our 10th anniversary. This was, right. I think it was our 10th anniversary. And so anyway, I was supposed to do it the day before, that our anniversary. And so we go out there and I'm all prepared and I get a message saying that, hey, due to wind and some other factors with weather, we're not able to jump today. So could you do it tomorrow? Which was actually our anniversary. And I kind of was like, no, we can't do that. And then Danielle was like, no, you need to do this. Like, go do that on our anniversary. I was like, wait a minute, are you sure? She says, yes. So I go and I do this whole, skydiving experience. It was a blast. It was great and all that. But she has a funny story because she's on this bus on her anniversary. She's going to do shopping or whatever. And she runs into this young couple and they're newlyweds. So they're there for their honeymoon. And
I see where this is going.
She goes, well, where are you guys from and all this stuff? And they're telling her, this is her honeymoon. And she goes, oh yeah. She goes, well, where's your husband at? She goes, oh, well, it's our 10th anniversary and he's skydiving. And they're all like, their faces go blank, like, oh, and anyway, it's a funny story about,
why didn't she go skydiving with you?
Well, Tony, not everybody wants to do that. So apparently,
yeah, me either. But I didn't know you'd skydive before. Was it scary?
Yeah, it was scary. I wouldn't do it again, I don't think. Of course, like I said, that was 13 years ago. So,
sure.
But anyway, yeah, it was fun. It was exhilarating. I got the video to prove it that I did it. And, and I'm on my way down and I'm looking, I got these things, I get the video and it's like, screaming, all that stuff. So
I'd be screaming in the plane. They'd never get me out of there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd be like a cat in a door, just hold. Nope, you're not pushing me out this door.
Yeah, and a lot of people did have to get pushed. But it's all good.
Anyway, I don't think people are familiar with the concept of the anti-bucket list.
Yeah, so the anti-bucket list, we actually referenced a little article from Kiplinger, and it says retirees anti-bucket list: 10 experiences you don't want. And so
an anti-bucket list, basically, as the name suggests, is simply a list or compendium of something you want to avoid.
Mm-hmm.
I've never heard of that, but that's probably
me neither.
We all have one, I'm sure, in our minds, things we definitely don't want to do. Like number one on my anti-bucket list is skydiving. Ironically, it was number one. Skydiving was number one on your bucket list. It's number one on my anti-bucket.
Yeah, I get it. But when it comes to the financial life, things that we talk about and do and talk about on this show, the first significant item to include on your retirement anti-bucket list is working too long. One of the most persistent myths about preparing for retirement, Tony, is that we all must work until a certain age, 65, 67, whatever it may be, or until we have a certain amount of money saved. And this just, Tony, isn't true, okay? It's instead important to build a thorough financial strategy, understanding how much you're going to collect from Social Security, how to maximize that, then fill the void with retirement dollars. And so how do you know how much you need? And a lot of it comes back to, Tony, your lifestyle. Like, how much does it cost for you to maintain your lifestyle? And so that's the important amount of money. It's not, like I said, a lump sum that people try to get to or a certain age. It's all about having the amount of income throughout your entire retirement, not just the first 10 years, well, I don't care about after that, no, you do, right? You shouldn't, or you should. I mean, so the point is just having enough money, having enough income to maintain your lifestyle throughout your retirement. So that's the first one. Okay, Tony, that's the first anti-bucket list is working to a certain age. The next thing you want to do, put on your retirement anti-bucket list is loneliness. Okay, according to the article here, that's right. Your financial strategy should include things that go beyond finances. Tony, you and I talk about this all the time, and it's so important. I just got back from a little conference in Nashville, and there was a big conversation. There was a whole session on this of how do we as financial advisors step into the role to help people say, yeah, we understand that Brock is our financial advisor and helps us retire. But how else can we help you retire, and not just in the ways of financial? And it's been it was a very interesting conversation. And so we're looking forward to start to implement some of these things. But, some of my clients have completely underestimated what being away from work really means, right? So for many of these 40 plus hours a week in the office was their biggest, social outlet, if you will, Tony. In retirement, those water cooler conversations and the coffee cup, standing around drinking coffee out of your Alspaugh Wealth Management coffee cup, that's time for you to have an outlet to talk about things. And if you don't have those people, and if you don't have those moments, how are you going to replace that? And if you don't have that, that can create some loneliness. All right. Especially, let's say you're in a divorce situation, or, something happened. And so it's just you. You've got to have a plan. And to avoid the loneliness situation, Tony, it's having a plan as to what organizations are you going to be involved with. Maybe you volunteer your time.
Stay active and stay social. Yeah, and you're right. There are a lot of things you can do. You can volunteer different places. You can work at your church, a local museum, the library. There's so many different things you can do to stay busy. You don't necessarily need to get a job to stay active and stay social, but for some, a lot go back to work because they get bored or lonely. And you're going to have better health if you stay active and
100%.
socially active than too much by yourself time is not good for your health.
And what's great, Tony? Like, I work out at Prep Athletics. It's a organization here in Cape that is primarily developed to help kids accomplish their athletic goals and get prepared as Prep Athletics for college, right? And so college athletics. But they branched out and they have a big following of adults as well, and that come in and work out. But it's not just the workout; it's the social interaction of when you are working out in a group situation. It's good because you get a little bit of that competitive spirit, but it's a great time for fellowship. There's people that stand around and drink coffee after they work out for the next group that comes in. It's just that's one little example of staying healthy, but yet staying connected and being connected with a relationship with other friends. So anyway, just a thought there. New hobbies, starting a new small business at home. There's tons of options out there, so just make sure that you have that ready. And so when you retire, maybe not right off the bat, because I feel like a lot of people that I've talked to and helped retire, the first year or so, they're good, right? They're pretty much good, but it's after that when things settle down.
Yeah.
So anyway, there you go. Let's not do that.
Good point. Yeah. Take care of your emotional and physical health by staying active and staying social. That's a great point.
Yes, yes. Okay, let's go on to the next one, Tony. Not falling into a just-in-case retirement is another thing to add to your retirement anti-bucket list.
Yeah.
The very normal fear of running out of money during retirement can sometimes nudge people into a mindset that has them clinging to their assets because they expect the bottom to fall out of the market. Right?
The sky is falling. They watch too much 24-hour news, probably.
Exactly.
Right.
So, we always tell people it is a very dangerous thing to be too aggressive, and it's a very dangerous thing to be too conservative. Okay. And how do we know where we should be from a risk perspective? And there's one easy thing that you can do that we have a service. You can go to mycolorofmoney.org, and you can take our 11-question little survey, and it will give you a score. And it will explain that score as to a guide to help you understand kind of where you should be from a risk level standpoint. So that is a great way to think about, hey, I don't want to have, because I will say this, and I've heard many people say this, Tony, when you maybe don't have the amount of emergency funds built up as a backup and savings, right? And then you get to that level, right? So maybe we've worked with them and this is how we're going to do it. We get to that level and then they add a little bit more. And it's kind of addicting to have that money in that money market and have it liquid and, have it, you're seeing some interest rate, a little bit to it, like 3-4% maybe on a money market. And it's just kind of like, oh, I'll just keep doing this. Well, listen, there's nothing wrong with with having money in the bank, and you must really have an emergency fund. But to get to a point where it's just kind of like you're doing it because you like that feeling of that security blanket, that gets to a point, Tony, where it's okay, that's enough, right?
It's detrimental to
It
your
is
overall long-term financial plan. Yeah. To have
exactly.
too much, I know you've told me about people when they first come to you and they had all their money in the bank. Like they had
Yeah,
no growth or very
right.
little, or the opposite, they have it all in the stock market. But you've got to have some type of balance there
You
between
gotta have
safety
balance.
and risk, right?
You gotta have balance. Look, there's always different. Basically, to me, if you ask me, there's basically three aspects to any investment, right? So you have your safety, you have your growth, you have your liquidity, right? So those are the three main aspects of an investment that we would consider. Now, there's other things like taxes and income, right, that we consider too, but three main one when it comes to what level where we should be at, based on what's important. So is growth the most important thing? Is safety the most important thing? Or is liquidity the most important thing? And what happens is when people have that amount of money in the bank, it's liquidity that they're addicted to, and it's
Yeah.
not so much the growth or the safety. It's the liquidity of saying, "Oh, if I wanted to go buy something, I could go do it." Right? Well, you can do the same things in a better, more efficient way. So
Right.
anyway, yep.
Right. But I see your point about people worried that they're not going to have enough in retirement. If
Right.
you're working with a financial services professional like yourself to build that strategy, there's no reason to head into retirement expecting the worst. So,
Exactly.
so
Which
that's
actually kind of dovetails right into our next one, Tony. And the next key thing to add to your anti-bucket list is overreacting to market volatility.
and
I like
everybody's guilty of that, right?
Oh, are you kidding me? Yeah, 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 for sure. So we know that the markets go up and they go down, right?
Yep.
Um, this is actually a really good conversation and a timely one because we really haven't experienced much volatility here in the last, say, 2 years now. The market's been going up and up significantly, and so what I would tell people is that volatility is going to creep up here in the next few months. There's no question about it. Now, you might be excited about President Trump and what he's going to do, and it's going to be good for the economy, and I would generally agree with some of those things. But besides what a president is doing, like there's going to be volatility, and it's good. We have corrections in the stock market, 5 to 10%. We usually have two of them, by the way. We have had none, okay, in the last 2 years. So we are definitely due for a correction. We was at this conference, Tony. We were talking about Apple stock, and what's funny is one of the metrics that we look at when it comes to stocks is called a price to earnings ratio, okay, PE ratio. And so the historical PE ratio of Apple stock is somewhere between 15 and 20%. Okay, it is now at 33%. Yeah. So the PE ratio of Apple is at 33. So it's quite a bit higher, which means what? You could say it's overvalued. I don't, we're not going to get into the weeds here in this show about that. But the point is that corrections are good. They bring valuations back down. They understand that, like, hey, this is why I'm dollar cost averaging into my 401k, because when the market does go down, I'm buying in at those prices as well. And over time, I'll be better off. And generally speaking, that's true. So the point is that don't be afraid of market volatility. Like,
Right.
this is something that, if you're holding on and saying, hey, I'm going to put all my money in cash or a stable value fund because I'm going to wait for the market to go down. Don't do that either. Having a little bit of dry powder on the side, fine. But don't change your investment strategy because of what you think might happen. And on the opposite side of that is don't put all of your eggs in one basket. Make sure you're diversified and don't overreact to market volatility when the market goes down. That's it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you're right. And people do typically make emotional decisions with their money, and they shouldn't. And that's why working with somebody like yourself, Brock, is huge, because you and your staff are there to look at the situation and make decisions and help your clients make decisions that aren't emotional, but tied to reality and what they need to be doing based on their personal goals and situation, rather than, they heard we're going to have a recession, or because their party didn't get elected, the world's going to fall apart. And you hear that all the time.
You do, and it's kind of calmed down now, but definitely before the election, I heard a lot about that. And I always said, keep your politics out of your money. Listen, over the time that Democrats have been in as president, the market's averaged like 8.4%. Over the time that the Republicans have ruled or been president, it's 8.2%. It's like it's the same. It's the same. Yeah. It's like, dude, don't worry about this. Now, there are times of different presidencies that the market is up or down, but the point is, over time, it's about the same. So, like, keep your politics, keep your emotions, keep what you think might happen out of your investment strategy. That's the bottom line, Tony. So, what I would say is that this is the reason why you work with a professional, to keep you from making bad decisions. That's one of the things that we do, right?
Yep.
As financial advisors, keep you on track, make you understand the long term, make you understand your goals and objectives and how we can help you get there.
Yeah, I mean, you've helped me. You've kept me from making more bad decisions. Like, Tony, maybe you should just sit back down and not make that 5th trip to the pizza bar, the pizza buffet bar. Yeah.
Well,
you're always there for me, Brock.
However, I can help you. Like I said, I'm looking to expand our services here and not just be financial. So maybe that's one we can get into. Let's
you're expanding your services to the community and your clients. I'm expanding my waistline at the pizza bar. But Brock, before we move on, let people know how they can get a hold of you.
Yeah, give us a call, folks. We can help you work through all of these issues, some of these pitfalls, some of these things that we're calling anti-bucket list items. Give us a call at Alspaugh Wealth Management, 573-332-7855. Or you can look us up on the web at alspaughwealthmanagement.com. There's lots of great information on our website. You can request lots of different reports. There's some brochures on there about different topics. You can look at all of our podcasts and listen and watch specifically to a topic that you're interested in. Lots of different things, but ultimately you can request a consultation with me on there as well. So alspaughwealthmanagement.com, 573-332-7855.
All right. That sounds great. Now, today's show has been a crazy one. Anti-bucket list for retirees, right?
Yeah.
Retirees anti-bucket list. Is there maybe one more thing you want to add to that?
Yeah, I would say make sure that, if you're saying long-term care is in your healthcare hardships, just kind of ignoring that issue, saying, oh, well, Medicare is going to take care of me. I'll be, or Medicaid, or, just saying, oh, I don't want to have to worry about it. I don't care about all that. Let's avoid that situation, right?
Yeah, you don't want to put off planning for healthcare or not plan for healthcare costs in retirement. That should be on your anti-bucket list. Don't do that. Plan for healthcare, right?
Exactly. So whether that be with your Medicare and your Medicare supplements, which plan to choose, which one's best for you when it comes to long-term care. Boy, has that world changed significantly, Tony. A lot of people are getting away from, buying that traditional long-term care insurance, which is rarely available nowadays because companies just got out of it. But now what they've done is they've added asset-based long-term care. So it's using money that you already have to help leverage that up to help pay for these costs when you need it. And then if you don't need it for long-term care, look, somebody's going to get the money. So it's a very attractive option for a lot of people. So that's where I would say is that don't put your head in the sand when it comes to, I don't have to worry about that. Medicare is going to take care of me. Let's avoid that situation and develop a plan that makes sense for you.
Yeah, because there's still premiums, there's still copays, there's still deductibles, and there's still a lot that Medicare doesn't cover.
Right.
Supplemental plans can cost money, and you're probably going to need them. So that's a great point. Well, this has been an interesting show, kind of reversing it. What do we want to avoid? What's on the anti-bucket list?
Yeah.
Great one. Now, one more time before we go. let our listeners out there know how they can get a hold of you, Brock.
Yeah, just give us a call at 573-332-7855 or look us up on the web at alspaughwealthmanagement.com.
All right, and that does it for today's episode of the Retirement Playbook with our host, Brock Alspaugh.